Okay, so I see that. And then give me a second. I'm also going to stream in our group. So wait a minute. Why am I getting an error message? I'm logged into Facebook. Hold on. Darn technology, I tell you. Why am I getting an error message? Um, ah, okay. Um, Okay, I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna do our intro, and then as our first person starts, I'm gonna get my tech person on the phone and try and help me figure out, so maybe we can stream most of it in there, but it's recorded, so even if we can't, we can put the recording in there and people can watch later. So thank you all for coming to our makeover event. There's some, like I said, there's some great recipes that are normally for Thanksgiving, but of course you can have them anytime you want. And each of these ladies have a healthy twist to it because we're always trying to be healthier so we can extend our lives and not only extend our lives, but have vibrant lives. So it's what I love about this community. I'm very thankful for this community. I'm thankful for each one of these ladies that agreed to come on this event and share. And so we are going to get started. Our first person is Sherry. And
Hello,
I will turn it
everyone.
over to Sherry.
Okay, so I am very thankful that you all were able to join today. And I'm going to echo something that Joy just mentioned. The community that we're a part of, they're really like family. I have been in this community of this, and people have continued to be added to this community. But I joined this health-minded community about 15 years ago, and when I tell you I knew nothing, I knew nothing. And I'm still constantly learning every day because the wealth of knowledge that pours into this group is just tremendous. I have access to people that I just would never have probably ever met if I hadn't been a part of this community. So I'm very, very thankful for the community, the friendship, the fun, the fact that they're like family, but also the information, because this is stuff other people pay for, they pay good money for. And we're in a community that they just are so warm and they share it so easily. So that is what I'm thankful for today and all year long. And I'm making collard greens today. And I'll be the first to admit I am not the master chef. Okay. Even amongst my immediate family, my daughter, my older daughter has surpassed me in the kitchen. But this is a simple enough dish that anybody can make it. So if you're not familiar with collard greens, get familiar with them because they are packed full of nutrition and the leaves are nice and big. I wish I could say this had come off my tower garden, but I don't have my tower garden set up at this new place that I'm at. But I know plenty of people who have grown it on their hydroponic tower gardens at home. If not, this one I got at Whole Foods. I got organic ones at Whole Foods. But if you don't have time to rinse them and chop them yourself, you can, usually Publix has chopped collard greens at the ready. So if there's no excuses, okay? So even if you're not a cook, like I'm not really a cook, you can find a chopped bag of greens and rinse them. Some people soak them in baking soda to make sure you get all the dirt off. Some people soak them in vinegar, apple cider vinegar. Whatever your choice of cleaning them, do make
Lauren went to the mall for mom. One of your buddies got her home, but she said that her driving brothers will take off. Who the heck got
I will. I'm not going to actually cut this one because I held this leaf back so I can make a collard wrap later.
else?
Which is another nice thing. We could have had that before. But if you cut,
it's recording.
what I tend to do is just
Do
hold the leaves.
are you
I think we have somebody talking.
a videos?
I just don't, I want to make sure people can hear me. So I tend to get a couple leaves at a time and fold them over, and then I cut lengthwise down, not lengthwise, I guess it's horizontally. And then once I have it nice and shredded, I'll just cut it one or two times the other direction so that I have a nice, just chopped group of collard greens. In this recipe, besides the greens, I have sweet onion. You could do red onion. You could do white onion. I have garlic, however many you prefer. It's your choice. You know, whether you want to make it a little spicier. I do about 2 cloves of garlic for 3 bunches of greens, and about 1/4 of an onion. And then mushrooms. I like mushrooms. Whenever I can sneak mushrooms into a recipe, I do. These happen to be baby bellas, but you can pick any variety of mushroom you want, and mushrooms to taste. I would put the whole carton in, but since my daughters will eat mushrooms, but they don't just love mushrooms, then when I make it for them, I put a little less. So it's to taste on the mushrooms. I have a tomato here that I use as a garnish at the end, but that's up to you. And then for seasonings, even though I put onion and garlic in, I still add onion and garlic powder to taste. I have paprika. There are some versions of paprika that you can get, smoked and different flavors of paprika. So kind of use your imagination. I couldn't find a smoked paprika, so I added a little liquid smoke to it. And a little bit of this goes a long, long way. You do not need to add a bunch, okay? And then of course, I use salt. The salt I use is Himalayan pink salt. So whatever your salt that you use, some people use just, I would recommend not using table salt, but whatever healthy salt you have found for yourself, that's what I would use. So once you get your onion and your garlic cut up, you're gonna put in, and the other ingredient, this is the magic ingredient that I use, vegetable broth. Whatever brand you like. This happens to be Publix's Green-Wise organic vegetable broth. I don't use any oil and I don't use any meat to flavor my greens, which for me was a big change. We used a ton of olive oil, we used ham hocks, turkey legs, whatever we could to season those greens. And I'm gonna be honest with you, you don't need it, okay? So I have a wok here, but whatever you want to use to saute, you pour in your vegetable broth and your onions and your garlic and your mushrooms, and you let them get nice and soft. Then you add in your seasonings to taste. Again, all of this is to taste. Add in your cut up greens, and you don't want to overcook them too much because you want to try to keep in the flavor. And I kind of did overcook mine a little bit for my taste. Accidentally, because I was trying to hurry and prep for you guys, but this is basically what they look like. I like mine a little bit less cooked down just to maintain most of the nutrients, but they still taste good. And then here's my finished product with my tomato garnish. You do not have to put tomatoes on here, but you know, what does that lady say? She said, that's your business, Miss Tabitha Brown. If you haven't found her, she's a pretty cool vegan chef on Instagram and TikTok and the like. And she says, you add what you like, that's your business. So for me, my business is to add some tomatoes on the top, and I'm gonna eat it in front of you because I've been waiting patiently for y'all to hurry up and let me show you how to make it so I can eat it. Yeah, that's the stuff. So I'm gonna tell you, I was worried because I gave up meat some time ago, and I had stayed away from making collard greens because the meat, the fat, and the sweetness of the meat is usually what makes it taste so good. But I found a way, and I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna save my life. Okay, so that's my collard greens. I hope it brings you joy and peace and happiness this holiday season. Enjoy. I want to eat, so I'm gonna let somebody else talk.
I get some of that on my fork. I keep trying to. That looks so good.
So any questions? Oh, I think think the recipes will be shared, yes.
Oh, hey, Robin, all the way from California. Nice. All right. So, Joy, do you want me to go?
Hi, yeah, hi from beautiful California. I just got the notification. I said, oh,
Very cool.
I better join. This sounds good.
Thank you so much, Sherry.
You're welcome. I hope it was helpful. Thanks for inviting me, Joy. I'm going to turn my camera off while I eat, but I'm going to listen to y'all.
Okay, thank you. All right, so next we have Hyvel. I'm sorry, Nina. So forgive me. Nina's next. Chef Nina.
Either way, it's all good. Well, Joy, thanks so much for setting this up. You know, it's my favorite thing to do. So, hello and welcome, everybody. I realize you could be anywhere today on your Sunday right before the holidays. So, it's a big deal to me that you show up here and you get to watch. I get to do what I love to do the most, which is share healthy food. And when I start looking at what all the choices are for Thanksgiving and the holidays, you know, one of the things that I really thought to redo is cranberries, because usually every cranberry recipe has so much sugar, just astronomical amounts of sugar. And there are better ways, and there are ways that are actually helpful. And I think the first thing I want to focus on is why cranberries are so great of a choice that they should not be left for Thanksgiving alone. Cranberries are something that we really get to find a way to enjoy more often, because out of all the produce, out of all the fruits and vegetables, everything that has disease-fighting attributes, nothing is higher than cranberries. Isn't that crazy? Like, you know, we're so careful about antioxidants and anti-inflammatory, and actually nobody does it better than the humble cranberry. So much so that Ocean Spray is now finally writing on the package, it says superfood. So they finally figured that out. So it truly is a superfood. It prevents UTIs, and most of us women probably already know about that, but you may not know that it slows tumor growth, it improves memory, it emulsifies fats, and, you know, so in other words, it's great for anyone watching their weight. And that's one of the reasons why this community in another week or so is going to run a detox, a gentle detox, a mild detox beverage that includes a lot of unsweetened cranberry juice. So it's just, it's so great. It boosts immunity, and that's what we're all about. Everything I do is about boosting immunity, creating a healthy base for our system, and trying to make sure that everything is heart healthy as well. And let's see what else. So that's the point about cranberry. So because of that, because I love cranberry so much, I'm going to make one that you can have all year round. And look how much I love cranberry. I'm even like color coordinated for our show today. All right, so let me first show you the finished product, and then I'll show you how I got there. Okay, I can't tilt too much because it'll all come falling out, but basically that's fresh cranberry. And when I was deciding what to do for this program, I was debating between doing a raw cranberry or a cooked cranberry. But the raw cranberry, which I adore, requires special equipment. So I decided to make kind of the simplest thing, so that it doesn't matter what equipment you have or don't have. If you have a pot and you have a stove, you can do this. You don't need to have an Instapot or a pressure cooker. Of course you can, and if any of you want me to convert this for you, just say so in the chat. I'll get you all the information that you want. I'm just sticking with the basic. We got a pot, we got cranberry, I've got, I have a naked orange because I already took the zest off of this orange. And instead of sugar, I added dates. So actually, let's see. So here's the package. One of the things that I looked for that was really important when I looked for dates is a lot of the packages in the supermarket, look at the ingredients on the back, because it'll say dates and something else. I wanted a package that only had dates in it. There's no sugar added, there's no fructose, There's no sulfates to keep it, whatever. So just plain dates. And I take it and I let it sit in water or boiling water. Put it in the microwave if you want. I prefer just to pour boiling water over it, or even better, put water over it overnight and just let it sit. And then you use the water because the water is sweet, and you use the dates instead of sugar, because not only are the dates going to add sweetness, but the fiber, by adding all of the actual date, you are getting a ton of fiber. And for any of you, actually, whether you know it or not, what's really important is that any time that you have anything sweet, if you have it with fiber, it will slow down the amount of sugar that gets into your bloodstream. And so if you're fighting high blood sugar, or if you're pre-diabetic, or if you're diabetic, any of these things, any of those phases along the way, or if you just want to prevent that from happening, instead of eating refined sugars, make sure that you have a sugar that has a lot of fiber. So in this case, I'm using dates. You could use raisins, you could use figs, you could use apricots, any of that, where you soften the dried fruit and then add it, and it's up to you whether you puree it or not. Cook it enough that you'll kind of break it up with a wooden spoon. I have next to me an immersion blender, but again, I could use it, but I don't have to. You know, I could either have it a little chunky, which I like having texture, and let's see, do I confess how great this is over ice cream? Yeah, okay, well it is. So sometimes you might want it chunky, but you could also puree it. You could puree it with an immersion blender or in just a regular blender. It doesn't even have to be a fancy high-powered blender. And you know, if you start making this more regularly, you can play with it so that each time it's a little different. And although I'll get to it in a minute, but that's why I have a whole array of spices, which we'll get to. I'll hold them up for you to see, but those are just options. This recipe is cranberries and orange zest and AKA sugar. And again, if anybody wants it with the brown sugar, I can give it to you as a recipe, but I would rather invite you to try something new and try and take dry dates, soak them in water, use the date, and use the liquid as the water. Now, with all of that water and liquid, how did it get to, oh, that's hot, yeah. How did it get to, you know, this kind of consistency? For two reasons. One, I think I can actually turn it off now. One, because I let it cook down, but this has not been cooking for hours and hours, and yet it's really thick. That's because cranberries have one natural ingredient called pectin. Pectin you'll typically find in apples, and most people don't know that it's in cranberries. And so what does pectin do? Pectin creates a gel. So that's terrific as a cooking agent, but what does pectin do in our bodies? That's where I like to come in with this, because I feel like anybody can teach us cooking, but understanding what's healthy, like that's my favorite part of it. That way I can eat with like a hidden agenda and it's all delicious, but it's really super healthy for us. So pectin is also good for building our immunity. It is great for adding fiber. And let me just check I have my cheat sheet somewhere here. Okay, so it is, yeah, for sure, it's immunity building. It helps improve our gut health, which basically is at the core of everything. Everything is tied to our gut health, and even our mental health and our mental well-being is connected to what's happening. How are we feeding our gut? It is also, so this is the one thing that I learned about pectin this time around that I didn't know, which to me is super exciting. Pectin helps us absorb iron better. How many of us have iron deficiencies? How many of us block our own iron uptake? So if we're drinking coffee 2 hours before or 2 hours after a meal, we are blocking our own iron absorption. So A, don't do that. Stop. Just stop it. But B, learn like what to eat together and how to improve, because I guess an important part that you would want to know is how many of you are saying, well, who cares? What do I need iron for? Like, what does it matter? But iron is
So Nina froze on us. um, yeah. What I love about when Nina is on here is that she is a plethora of good information. So, um, I was hoping she'd pop back in here, but um, all right, we will move on to the next person.
I see she's,
Are you saying something, Michelle? I can't hear you.
I see Nina is back.
Is she back? Nina?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
we can hear you.
Okay, good. So sorry about that. You know, it happens. It's a little technology issue. So what I was saying is one of the reasons that iron is important for us, you know, we don't open up our cabinet and say, I want to eat some iron today. But, you know, if we all want to manage our energy, that is done through making sure that we are not only taking iron, but that we're absorbing it, right? In our lifetime, the important thing that we get to learn is not just what we take in, but what are we absorbing? So we want to eat foods in their most absorbable state, in their most bioavailable state. We want to make sure we're not conflicting. So there are things that help us absorb iron, and one of them is vitamin C. So anything that we can do when we eat iron that includes vitamin C, and the cranberry, and I think I mentioned we have some orange in here. The cranberry alone is high in vitamin C. We're going to add some orange. I just used the zest. You could, if you're wondering what am I going to do with a naked orange, you could just eat the orange, or you could juice it in here, or, you know, just save it and have it as dessert. Like, this is what I call dessert. Anyway, let's show you what some of the alternatives are. So what happens is this cranberry, dates, what else? Orange zest, and that's it. All of that together is really simple, and it's great. It's delicious, the end, right? So how nice is it to have a 3-ingredient dish instead of stressing over everything you're doing for the holidays? We all have too many dishes to make, too many things to worry about, right? And delish. Now, here's where I start getting creative. So I invite you all to try it once by itself. God, that's good. Wow. Yum. Okay. Now, what are some of the things that we could do along the way? We could add some black peppercorns, just cracked. That could be a delicious addition. Vanilla bean or a few drops of vanilla. What else? We can get a little more exotic here. I always think that with something sweet, a little hot pepper, not so much that you taste it and you go, ooh, that's hot. Although some of you like that. I know that. But just enough to add some depth, to add a little lift to it. So a little hot pepper is good. Then we get to more exotic things. All right, fennel and cranberry and orange. How nice would that be? If some of you eat fish like this, you know, this with an oily fish, like with a salmon, something acidic and tart, it's got a little sweetness, you get a little richness from the fennel. Again, you're layering flavors. That's a way to bump this up the next notch. And by the way, cranberries are all going to go on sale right after the day after Thanksgiving. Cranberries are going to be in every supermarket on sale. You can buy and keep them in your freezer, even if they were fresh. And then you can have them because, like I said, whether you have this over ice cream or whether you have this like over, you know what, in our smoothies, oh my God, in our vanilla shake with your cranberry puree would just be great. It would be great as a soda spritzer. You know, in Russia, they sweeten their tea with a little jam. So just it's just an invitation, you know, try something different, find other ways to get your vitamin C, your iron, your pectin, your fiber, like have some fun with it. So let me see, what else did I really like putting in here? Oh, ginger, fresh ginger, powdered ginger, like that will bring it up a notch. Now, if you're used to doing something a little Asian, think about cooking lemongrass with that, right? I'm sure several of my other co-hosts here are growing lemongrass in your gardens. I know that exactly. I know Vela, Sonia, anyway, especially in South Florida, like we're all growing lemongrass. So ginger would be good with that. And here's another possibility. What about adding a little curry? Like that could be really nice. And then this with just over a bowl of brown rice. Like you'd have a complete meal. It's delicious, rich in fiber, rich in all the nutrients, all the polyphenols, all the plant-based magic. It's all here in a simple dish that we're so used to thinking of, oh, I'm just gonna buy that jellied canned thing. By the way, I love it, okay? That's like one of my like secret junk food things is I love every year, I would never buy it, okay? I'll make this, but when I go to somebody's house and it's sitting there on the table, I'm like, oh, you know, I got lucky. I love this. I would never buy the jellied cranberry, but I guarantee you that's from my childhood. I would eat that. You know, I might regret it the next day, but this I'll never regret. So this, do not save cranberries for just Thanksgiving. Enjoy them all the time because this is divine. The sauce will thicken naturally as it cools. That's what pectin is doing. What else? Wow. Oh, you know, I got so excited about the iron absorption that I forgot to tell you that anything with pectin is actually helpful in the bathroom, whichever direction you're having problem with. Pectin will help regulate you for your bowels. It helps control blood sugar. So again, if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic or trying to avoid it, like these are all great things to have. Cranberry, orange. Oh, the other thing that I'll tell you about, and then I'll yield the stage. But okay, so in the recipe, you don't have to, and if you're worried and you don't want to booze it up, there's a couple of things. You can just avoid it, like don't put it in, or put it in early enough that it cooks off. So there's no alcohol. So you don't have to worry about your kids getting loopy at the Thanksgiving table. And, you know, you can choose something like a nice wine. What I always learned a long time ago is you want to cook with a wine that you would enjoy drinking. Like, don't get into that habit of saying, oh, I'm just cooking with it. I can use the crappy wine. Like, no, because it's going to taste like you used crappy wine. So we had a little bit left, and we actually forgot it and left it out on the table overnight, uncorked. And okay, so maybe we wouldn't drink it, but the minute I poured it in, the vapors, it was heavenly. It was delicious. And
Yeah. Nina,
hello.
can I ask?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So is it any kind of wine, or you suggest red wine, or?
Right. So look, the recipe very specifically says port, and
Okay.
who cares? If you don't drink port, don't run out and go buy port. Right? If this is what you drink instead of eating the turkey, you're having wild turkey, you know, use an ounce of this. Right? So whatever you like, and if you like white wine, use that. Like, I'm not here to make you bad and wrong. Like, oh no, it's got to be from California. Sorry, Robin. You know, it's got to be from the 2019 vintage. Okay, we can go down that road if you want, but that's a different show. The point about all of this is enjoy what you have. Don't make yourself go crazy. Don't run out to the store because you don't have it. If you don't have it, you don't use it. Add something else. If you don't have curry, add ginger. If you don't have ginger, do it without. I promise you, it will be amazing no matter what you do.
Okay, two more questions. I'm giving you questions out of the chat, Nina. So one says, can I use medjool dates, or are they too sweet?
No, actually, medjool dates are probably my favorite. I think the only thing that's really important is you want to use dates that are pitted. They have the pit removed. Pitted means been taken out as opposed to with pits. So you want no dates. No pits. Because it's too easy to forget them and then bite down, and you know, I want to know what emergency dentist is working on Thanksgiving Day. That's not fun. So make sure there's no pits in them. The two favorite preferred varietals of dates are Deglet, D-E-G-L-E-T, one word, Deglet, or Medjool, M-E-D-J-O-O-L. Either are good. Honestly, again, if we're going to get really finicky, I prefer the Deglet. However, I have not yet found anywhere, any state, I have not yet found Deglets that I can buy that are pitted. Now, if I'm just cooking for 2 or 3 of us, it doesn't matter. I can hand pit them. But generally, you guys got to remember, I do this for a living. So when I'm cooking for a lot of people. And I don't want to have to stop to open every single date, take the pits out, make sure one didn't drop in the sauce, like whatever. It's bad news. I try and find them pitted. Again, if you're just gonna, but even for this recipe, I used a bag, so I like buying them without pits. What was your next question?
So this other question is, maybe they missed the part about the dates. The question is, the dates are boiled whole with the cranberries.
Yes, so the first thing that happens is they're either soaked in water overnight or boiling water is poured over to soften them. And then they are cooked down with the cranberries whole, as long as there's no pits in them. Yeah, they break up as they start to cook. You know, I used a spatula and just kind of broke them up a little once they were already soft. But it does help to pre-soften them. Typically dates are dried and they've been sitting on the shelf God knows how long. And that's, you know, before you take them out from the back of your cupboard where they've also been sitting for God knows how long, and they're still good. There is nothing wrong with them. You can bring them back by soaking them in water overnight.
Thank you.
Love you all. So nice to see you. So nice to be here. And I can't wait for everything that follows because I know every other dish is going to be amazing. Thank you for including me, Joy.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chef Nina, and all your great information. So we're going to keep it moving. And our next person is Bella.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hyvel Ferguson Davis, and I'm grateful for a sense of community. I'm grateful for information. But most of all, I'm grateful to help people empower themselves by breaking generational behaviors. And this hits home for me because I'm a stroke survivor, heart attack survivor, and this is how I learned to thrive, that is. Here is a potato. Here is chickpeas. Now, if you look at both of these, they're both full of carbohydrates. But do we know the difference between the carbohydrates? There's a simple carbohydrate and there's a complex carbohydrates. And me being a diabetic, I had to learn the difference. I didn't know before I had the stroke. So therefore, I gained so much information from the community, like Sherry and Nina all said before. The information is powerful. So today, I love sides. I know I don't even look at the turkey on our dish. My thing is I'm the queen of the sides. And I had to bring it for my family because they're really picky. So today I am doing a potato salad. I'm gonna show you something a little different also. So what I decided to do was to make a potato salad. So instead of just using a simple potato, I kicked up a notch by introducing a bit of complex carbohydrate. Being a diabetic, your insulin absorption, because you're eating a complex, it's much slower. And also it has protein in it. And who could use extra plant-based protein in their life? I can. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a can, any type of garbanzo beans with chickpeas, and you're gonna just rinse it out, of course, and you're gonna take it and put it in a bowl. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hand or even a colander and just switch it around just to get the peel off. And I'll show you what it looks like. It's this here. You wanna take those off. You can see that? It's pretty simple. With a colander, you can also just go ahead up and down, and that works simply. And you just want to drain it because it comes to the top, if you can see that, and you'll be able just to sift it off. And the next step you're going to do is you're going to just take that chickpeas. You don't have to get fancy, simple, and you're going to just squash it up. And like I said, this is full of protein. So when you're eating, you know, if you're going to have that pie, you know, you want to leave that carbohydrate or that sugar for later, especially being a diabetic. I don't want to be, you know, in bed after I eat my meal So this here, okay. So this is what it looks like when it's done. It looks like this is mashed up. So the next step is I'm just gonna go ahead and take my pan here. Let me go ahead and do this part. Okay, I put my potatoes in here. I go ahead and I mount the chickpeas. And the chickpeas, it doesn't really have a flavor. It mimics anything that you eat. So you don't really see it. The consistency of the potato is there. If you want to add eggs, you can go ahead and add eggs at this point. And then I go ahead and I add onions and green peppers, which is very simple. I chop those up. And then I love, 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 if you can see that, pickles. I don't use the relish, I use pickles because the relish tends to be sweet, and being a diabetic, I don't want it extra added. So if you want, I go ahead and I add a little bit of mayonnaise. Now, what I also do is a modification. I go ahead and I use the Skinny Girl poppy seed dressing. If you can see that, this bad boy has 10 calories. So what I do is I half it, so you're not getting all of that calories from your mayonnaise. So you're gonna go ahead and just mix this together. And I can show you what it looks like here. It's beautiful, and I'll add my seasoning. If you wanna add some pepper, you can go ahead at that point, add some pepper. I might also add a little bit of Dijon and a little bit of mustard. I just like to spice it up a bit. I go ahead and add that in there. And then I add my very little bit of salt, Malaysian sea salt, very little. And I go and mix that up. I'm gonna take that right now. It's fairly simple. It's not crazy. It's nothing out of the usual. It's just making a potato salad. But what I love to do is make modifications to my meal, because I don't want to, I have critics here, my son, my husband, they'll tell me if I'm a hit or miss, and they're very vocal with it. So this is simple, and instead of adding paprika, I just use a mix, and this has parsley, it has rosemary, it has garlic, and I'll just garnish it on top. And I'll also add, if you can see this here, a little bit of scallions from my tower garden, very simple to pick. And I just go ahead and add that there, if you can take a look at that. And I also love, like Nina said, I'm from the Caribbean, so I bring the pepper. So I add a little bit of jalapeno pepper on top of there. And there it is, my meal. It's a potato salad modified, if you can see that better. A potato salad modified with chickpeas instead of all of that potato. So I did half of it. And also, I just want to show you a quick thing, because with a side, we want to go ahead and, you know, potato salad. What's the next side we think about? Coleslaw. So I pre-made this coleslaw, if you can see that there, the same way. And if you guys can go to the store, instead of buying pre-packaged stuff in a bag, go natural, because it's less preservatives. You know, we look for the bag for convenience, but you know what? Convenience costs a price. And I just kind of got rid of the pre-packaged because it saved time, but we all have a price to pay if we use those. So it's pretty simple. Coleslaw the same way. The only modification I'm going to use is I went ahead for my tower garden. If you can see these curly kale, if you can see that, I go ahead and cut those up and I just add it. I added also a little bit of, if you can see there, I added some, there is some raisins in here. And if you want to just hit it up a notch, you can add a little bit of nuts just to give it, and you can give it a squeeze of lemon. You can add whatever you want to, like the poppy seed dressing again, here it is. Instead of the mayonnaise, you can add a bit of that in there. But this just shows you how you can modify your sides, and it's also good for you. So this way, you know, with my potato salad, I introduce greens into it. Although there is some cabbage in there, you can see there's greens in there if you can take a look at that. And there is my coleslaw. And like I said, just to top it off. So I'm bringing it, y'all, and there's my potato salad. Yes, we're ready for the holidays. Thank you, Joy.
That was so great. And you did bring it, Bella. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And again, more good information, which is always helpful to us as we're trying to, watch what we eat, watch how we eat. And like she said, breaking some generational, these things that we've just had from generation to generation that we don't have to have. That's another great part of this community. I think one of the greatest things I've learned was that your DNA is not your destiny. And so you can reverse all of that just by how you live and how you eat and how you treat your body. So thank you so much, Miss Bella. Okay, so we are moving right along, and our next person in the kitchen is going to be Sonia.
Hello, guys. Welcome to our healthy community. I hope you guys have enjoyed and learned the different meals you've seen before. And mine is very simple. It's all plant-based. Most of us have a mac and cheese on our Thanksgiving dinner table. And today's mac and cheese is a plant-based. It's it's pasta, and then you have carrots and potatoes and onion, garlic, and cashew. I use the cashew with sea salt. So you bring those potato, onion, garlic, and carrots to a boil until it's tender. Bring it to a boil, and then you add it into, I have already, of course, pre-made everything. So you puree your carrots, onion, garlic, cashew, and onions. Bring it to a mixture, puree, and then I have my pasta already boiled. And this is what it looks like. Creamy. I don't know if you can see here. Just gonna toss this in. I don't know if you can see how it's creamy. Just stir it all up. I add a little salt and black pepper, and the secret ingredient, I must say, is the nutritional yeast. That gives it the cheesy, creamy looking as mac and cheese. Now, what I did, mine is very fast and simple because I like to make healthy meals and stay out of the kitchen. So I did a bake one already. Yes, Cynthia. So you can have a baked mac and cheese and dish it out. I topped it off with a little breadcrumbs, and dinner is served.
Wow.
Very fast and simple.
Sonia, we have a question. It says, do you add the nutritional yeast in the blender?
Yes, everything. I just add everything into the blender, pure it, and then top it off over the pasta and turn it up. And you can even have it this way, or you can choose to bake it.
Nice. Thank you so much. That was
You're
super
welcome.
simple. I think that's the
Super simple.
easiest mac and cheese I've ever seen.
And it's all plant-based.
Plant-based, yes. Wow. Thank you, Sonia.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to share. All right. So Cynthia says she's coming over, Sonia. Our next person is
You're welcome to come.
is Michelle.
Hey everyone. Oh my gosh, I am so hungry right now looking at all these recipes and how good they are and yet so healthy. So I am so thankful for this community and all these amazing women that I get to do life with because I learned so much from them. So much. As you can see, I just learned a mouthful today alone. And so my recipe is super simple also. I like to keep it really simple in the kitchen. I do cook most days, but I try to make everything simple so that it's fast and I'm not here for hours. And so one of my favorite recipes for the past few years, I'm always bringing the veggies to the our holiday dinners. So my favorite ones are Brussels sprouts and string beans. And I laugh when I say Brussels sprouts because Brussels sprouts were my worst vegetable as a child. Like I hated them so much, but the way that my parents prepared them, they didn't make them very tasty. I think they used to just boil them and then put them on a plate. And I was like, oh, I hated it. But over the years, I have learned about roasting Brussels sprouts. And oh my gosh, it takes it to another level. So much better than what my parents used to give me. And now I make them all the time. But I especially love having them on the holidays because they are like a hearty vegetable and they keep you fairly full. They're full of fiber. There's so many antioxidants and really good things in them that are good for you. But roasting them just makes them taste so good that you can enjoy it too. So my recipe is an apple cider Brussels sprouts recipe, roasted Brussels sprouts. So I have before right now, I have some Brussels sprouts that are marinating in the liquid, which I'm going to tell you what that consists of. So it's part, the recipe called for olive oil, but I don't really have any olive oil in the house, but I do have avocado oil. So I used avocado oil, which is a very healthy oil to use when cooking. Then I have my apple cider vinegar. I'm going to use apple cider vinegar. Then some maple syrup. I've got maple syrup, which is a healthier alternative to like a healthier alternative to sweeteners is maple syrup. And it also called, so I marinate, like there's super simple. I made this recipe in less than like 10 minutes. It was so fast. So I mixed all these things together. It was like 1 tablespoon of the apple cider, of the avocado oil, and then like 1 teaspoon of the maple syrup. Mix that up, pour it over the cut up Brussels sprouts that I cleaned off, and then I have an air fryer. Ooh, I love my air fryer. It's the best. So took all of that, threw it in my air fryer, and in 7 minutes, my Brussels sprouts were done at 400 degrees. And then it said to also toast some pine nuts. So I have some pine nuts right here. I took some pine nuts, I threw them into the air fryer like around the last minute to toast them up a little bit. And then I got this. So there you go. Super simple. And at the end, I also added some pink Himalayan salt, which they call for like sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. I use this. And then I also put some ground black pepper on there. And that was it. It was done. And so when I was in here, when I first made it, my son was like, oh, let me try it. And he was like, oh, these taste good. So my son approves. He's only 10. So that speaks volumes. And I'm so hungry because I'm smelling it sitting next to me. So I can imagine how those other ladies who were preparing their meals are just like devouring them right now. But I'm about to do the same. But that is it for me. Let me see if I said everything I wanted to say. Yeah, Brussels sprouts are really good for you. They're rich in vitamin K and vitamin C and rich in fiber and are full of so many different types of antioxidants and phytonutrients. And they even say that it can help to prevent certain types of cancer. So if you don't have it on your list, if you're not eating it now, you may want to add it. When they're roasted, they're delicious. If you have an air fryer, it's amazing because it cooks so fast. And that is my recipe, and I'm sticking to it. So I'll turn it over to you, Joy.
Awesome. Thank you. So I think we could all agree that none of us enjoyed Brussels sprouts as kids. So, but I love that. It's like, and it's not like regular Brussels sprouts with the apple cider vinegar. It's sort of like a little Thanksgiving twist to it. So something a little different than maybe what you normally do when you cook your Brussels sprouts. So thank you for sharing. Make sure you save some for Chance.
I'm gonna make more.
All right, so you have all these great side dishes.
If you don't.
And so we come to the last one, which is my recipe. And anybody who knows me knows that I am not a kitchen person like some of these other ladies. So I love doing these events because I learn a lot, but then I need to participate too. So I was looking for something. I was going to do a side dish too, and then I was like, no, I'm going to do a dessert. And so I found this dessert. It's 3 ingredients, so that was right up my alley. And again, I'm not a cooker, so a lot of the stuff you needed, like a mixer and a this and a that. I don't have any of that in my kitchen. So I found this recipe. It's called the 3-ingredient chocolate crunch donut, and it's vegan. So there are 3 ingredients I'm going to show you, which are these crisps, and they are gluten-free. The recipe called for regular crisps, but I mean, if you're gonna do chocolate, go big, right? So I got the chocolate ones. And then almond butter, but you could use any nut butter. If anybody has an allergy, you could just use coconut oil, and you could also use seed butter. So again, you can still mix it up how you want to. And then, I'm sorry, my phone is like going off. And then the last ingredient is dark chocolate and dairy-free dark chocolate. Okay, so super simple. I took the chocolate, I don't know if you can see it, hold on. And I broke it up in little pieces, right? And then I add the almond butter in here. And again, if you're a peanut butter person, put peanut butter in there, you know, whatever makes you happy. It's your recipe, like Nina said, and you can, you know, change it up however you want to. But you know, this is just a healthy, it gives you a healthy base to do your recipe. Okay, so I drop that in there, and I don't have a double boiler or all that, so I'm gonna pop this in the microwave. Hold please. Pop that in the microwave and let it soften so you can add in the Rice Krispies. And then you could also have, you know, dairy-free ice cream. They have lots of them out there now to go along with this if you're trying to stick with a, you know, vegan dessert. Or you can have some sorbet. I love sorbet, or yogurt to top on your donut. But yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the recipes and some of the helpful tips that these beautiful and smart ladies have presented here today. All right, I'm going to now go back over to the microwave, and it should be melted, and I'll fold everything in and show you the rest. Let's see, looks like it needs a little bit more. Just kind of stir up that almond butter, the chocolate. I'm gonna do a few more seconds. Yeah, so hold on. Okay, sorry. All right, So we're all melted here. Let's see if I can kind of tilt it. I'm not very good at this. There it is. All melted. I'm gonna fold in my Rice Krispie treats, dump them in there, and then just make sure they're all coated with the chocolate. And then I bought these cute little donut rings from Amazon. They were super cute and not expensive. Aren't those cute? So I ordered these from Amazon. And so you simply just, sorry, I'm working with one hand, so I can't like move the camera and show you, but I'll like do one and then show it to you. You just spoon it in to each of the little molds, right? Like that. Super simple, no baking. You put them all in there, stick them in the refrigerator for like an hour or so, and then you have these cute little donuts. Pop them right out, right? I love these silicone, but these are silicone, right? And you have the cutest little donut. So that is my simple recipe. No baking, no mixing, no chopping up. I just, with my hand, I just broke up the chocolate pieces, dropped them in my little bowl and microwaved them. And you could be a lot more fancy if you want to, but that's not me. So, but it's still a healthy dessert, and it's something kids will love. Those little Rice Krispie treats, they won't know that they're organic and they're gluten-free because they taste the same. I've had them before. We use them in our protein bars that we use with our chocolate shake mix. So again, I just want to thank all of you for jumping on and watching us do these demos and listening to us talk about our amazing community that we love. We'd love for you to join us. We have a Facebook group, and we share lots of stuff on there, lots of this same kind of stuff, recipes, like, you know, any of the events that we're having, like, I can't remember who said it now. It's all free. I think it was Sherry. All of our events are free, and so you're getting all this great information for free that makes life simple, but helps you as well. So whoever invited you to this group, if you aren't already, or to this event, if you aren't already in our Facebook group, please ask them to add you to the Facebook group. Each of the ladies are going to post their recipes in that group, so you can have them all and use them. And when you do, I ask that you post them in our group and let us see your recipes and what you thought about them. So again, we thank you very much for joining us. We wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving and a safe and blessed rest of this year. And we hope that you will join us again when we have our next event. So I am going to stop the recording.